Hi, I'm Helen and welcome to the Words That Change Lives podcast. This is for you if you are a leader, coach, or consultant looking to harness the power of your words to change lives for the better. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, please do click follow, and I always appreciate a review if you're enjoying what you're listening to. And if you're on Spotify and you would like to comment, I would love to interact with you there. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing the surprising wins that I have picked up from hitting 6 months of sobriety that has led to a 50% increase in productivity and happiness. Now that sounds like a bold claim, but it's true. And in this short episode, I'm going to be sharing with you those 5 wins. So let's get going. Well, the first thing I want to say is that it's not been all roses and unicorns. It's not been a really, really easy journey. There have been wins, which I'm going to be sharing here, but there have also been challenges too. And I want to kind of acknowledge that it's still going to be a journey. It's not a destination. But I really wanted to mark hitting 6 months because, well, I'm really proud of it. And also I know that I've spoken to a lot of people since starting up my Instagram channel and people contacting me on there, that it's something that a lot of you are thinking about and that you are appreciating me sharing this information. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got 5 surprising side effects of quitting the booze, which I did 6 months ago, which is pretty cool. And the first one is the glow up. Now, I'm not kind of saying this for myself because a lot of people have said to me that I look better, I look healthier, I look happier, and I look different to how I did when I was drinking. And I think that's partly to do with the fact that I definitely feel better, but also because I've become more visible in my confidence in quitting booze. So I'm doing more videos online, so people are noticing that more. But it has been something that I've been contacted and people have spoken to me about. So alcohol's impact on my nervous system is the place to start with this, because alcohol dysregulated my nervous system so much that I was anxious a lot of the time. I particularly, say if I drink on a Friday or Saturday, that would then last, that feeling, through to, a Wednesday, because the more as I've got older, the more I'm not able to just get over a hangover, and the more alcohol affected me. So sleep deprivation was a huge thing, and then that made me anxious. And so getting back that sleep and reducing that anxiety has meant that I am sleeping so much better than I ever was. I don't have that horrible anxious feeling through lack of sleep by drinking alcohol. And so that's given me clearer skin, more energy, better mental clarity. And that has also led to me having this sort of healthier body through more emotional stability. And so it's a huge knock-on effect. So I would say that the glow up, even though it kind of makes sense that this would be an obvious one, wasn't immediately apparent when I was thinking about quitting booze. I wasn't looking at myself necessarily and thinking, God, you look terrible. But on retrospect now, I wasn't getting the sleep that I needed. And so therefore that showed up in how I looked. And therefore I wasn't wanting to show up as much and all of that sort of stuff. So the glow up is number 1. Reduced anxiety equals better sleep. The second, which I really wasn't expecting, was a creative burst. And when I say creative burst, I literally mean some part of my brain, after I'd stopped drinking for about a month, just completely opened up. And I want to caveat this because a lot of people have asked me, they were saying, were you drinking every day? No. Were you drinking, evenings in the week? No. Were you drinking during the day? No, not necessarily. I'd have periods where I wasn't that bothered about alcohol, but then I had periods where I really was that bothered about alcohol. And generally at the weekend, I always had alcohol. And the thing about me is I'm a party person and I can't just have one. So my hedonism, I've got a hedonistic streak, would kick in and I'd want more and more and have more fun and go out and, be the last person standing and, all of that sort of stuff, which just doesn't lend itself to a happy, peaceful lifestyle. And so that's why I stopped. And there's lots of other reasons. Please do feel free to reach out if you want to talk about that more. But when I was drinking in that way, obviously I was very tired, and that shut down my creativity because I was tired. I was exhausted. I couldn't really focus properly. I was operating more or less at around 70% all the time. And since becoming sober, I've had a huge surge in creativity. Massive burst of ideas and like this reignition of motivation to do things, to do new things, to explore my creative feelings and expressions and do more with those. So that's resulted in a whole load of things, including in my work, a load of crazy things that I never would have done when I was still drinking. And that may seem strange, but it's true. Since stopping alcohol, my creative side has opened up so much that all of these new ideas are flooding in. Sometimes it's a bit much, but because all these new ideas are flooding in, and now I've adopted AI as like this amazing assistant, putting those two things together has meant that I have, and I'll talk about productivity in a minute, I've achieved so much more in much more creative ways. I've been able to push beyond my comfort zones because I've got more confidence and try new things. So that looks like a lot of things in my work. Also outside of work, creativity in, my music, in my hobbies, in the things that I want to do and pursue. So that's been really, really cool and unexpected. The third one, which again might seem pretty obvious, and I knew because I'm doing this for my health, my mental balance and well-being, and my kids. And there are a few times where, we'd be out with friends and I'd be with the kids and I can't drive because I want to drink and they want to go home and I don't want to go home. And so I started to assess the situation and think, I just don't want to do that anymore. And I want to be more present and I want to be more patient. And when I signed up to the I Am Sober app, it gets you to put in a goal for why you're doing this. And I said, I want to feel healthier. I want to have more longevity. I want to be there for my children. And I want to be a present parent for my children. And I will say that has been one amazing side effect that's come out of quitting the booze, because there was a lot of, as I'm getting older and, hormones start going out of whack, I had a lot of emotional highs and lows. Some days you'd be up, some days you'd be down, and it kind of affects your patience and it affects your presence, because when you're feeling like that, you don't necessarily always want to be present all the time. You want to escape into, your phone or doom scrolling on social media or, things like that. Whereas because I'm not feeling like that anymore, I'm way more present. I want to connect way more. And I've done so many things with my kids as a result of not drinking and be able to drive everywhere and really do things that are locked into them and, what they want to do and what we want to do together. And my leveling out of emotional states has given me way more patience. I'm a single parent. Kids have their challenges and their needs, and my son in particular. And so sometimes there's a lot of patience required to work through various things that we have to do. And so having this patience, particularly on a Sunday night before school, because both kids have had challenges with school attendance and Sunday nights can be really stressful. Now I don't feel Sunday night is the same as a Friday night, is the same as a Tuesday night. So I actually feel really good on a Sunday because I've got maximum amount of patience to be there, to listen and to hold space for my son, for example, if he's going through a hard time and he doesn't want to go to school the next day, for example, and I can work that through with him. And that just has led to, exacerbating the positive cycle and better relationship with them, always being present, which has been fantastic. The fourth thing has been much better decision making. I had to think this one through because I was like, what actually is it about this one? Well, when I was drinking, and say if I'd had a few drinks, I wouldn't make very good decisions, even if I wasn't massively drunk, even just after a few drinks. Now that can be as simple as just getting lost in vegetative states that aren't productive. Now, we all need a little bit of downtime. That's no problem. Say if you're drinking, you can get quite into it, bad habits about food, sugar cravings, carb cravings, wanting to just veg and not do anything at all. And that wasn't good, because then that sort of made me feel lethargic and, all of those sorts of things. Also, I've made bad decisions about saying things I wouldn't normally say, acting impulsively, chasing dopamine in unhealthy ways, be that food, be that more alcohol, be that going on dating apps, which is another sort of dopamine fueling activity that I haven't wanted to do because I feel much more mindful of my time and what decisions I'm making for the outcomes that I want. So that's led to also making better choices around exercise, around the work I do, around the people, the clients that I work with, around the relationships that I have, romantic or otherwise. I've really enhanced my decision making because I'm coming from a place of mental clarity and not dopamine seeking activities. And so that is surprising to me because I hadn't thought that through logically, but of course it kind of makes sense that it is an outcome of quitting booze that you make better decisions. And the final one is valuing my time. So I really now value time so much more than I did when I was drinking. I think before social activities focused around drinking, whereas now they're focused around the activity. And so the activity becomes really important. Sort of gone are the days where I just, yes, of course I want to connect with my friends, and I've been able to do that sober and actually have richer and better conversations with them sober. But gone are the days where the activity focused around the booze. It's now around the activity. So I'm doing much more productive things or enlightening things, the things that I'm choosing to do in my spare time, I'm really thinking about and being much more productive with. So sobriety has also given me more energy, clearer focus, and therefore I've been much more productive with my time. I'm thinking about how I'm spending my time, and because I've got more energy and not looking to doom scroll or massively escape like I used to, because I've got a rested body and mind, I'm better at time management planning. And again, the use of AI has boosted my productivity even further. So I feel like these two things have come crashing together and my productivity has massively increased, along with my capacity to deal with things, to deal with difficulties, curveballs, things that have, come out of the blue that you have to deal with. I've got the mental resilience and patience to deal with that now. So I feel like my capacity has increased and therefore I'm really valuing my time, focusing more on the things that matter. My friends, my kids, my family, my meaningful work, the hobbies that light me up, all of those sorts of things, exercise, getting into new exercise classes and things like that. And, this is 6 months. I'm not under no illusion here. And when I will say there have been some tricky moments, I just went away to Rome and I was considering having a glass of wine, but I then had a chat with myself and I was thinking, well, what would that actually do? Because I've changed, I'm rewiring my relationship with alcohol. I will admit my relationship with alcohol wasn't good and I'm rewiring that now, and to realise that actually that glass of wine wouldn't give me anything more, or it would actually take away from my experience, which was an amazing experience with my friend. We had a great time and I didn't need to have the alcohol. I've got through a Christmas without alcohol, and that is associated with alcohol a lot of the time. But I had one of the most amazing Christmases I've had in a very long time because I was able to drive to so many places and see so many people and have conversations that weren't focused on alcohol, which has been brilliant. And I've got through, raves, birthday events, all of those sorts of things. Those key milestones have been really key for me to think, okay, so this could be my life now. And I kind of want it to be my life now. So, if you're considering quitting the booze, I wanted to share this, but I understand it's not that easy. You have to be in the right place yourself to make that decision. And I would never impress that upon anyone. It got to a point with me where I had to do something because it was a common denominator for so many things that were going wrong in my life, my health, my relationships, my patience, my parenting, all of those sorts of things. And I will say, I can't measure these things, but there has been at least a 50% increase in a sense of well-being and happiness and productivity as a result of quitting. And I want to leave you with this one final thought, that sobriety isn't about what you're giving up. It's about what you're gaining. And I am absolute testament to the fact that in 6 short months, I have gained so much. And if you are thinking about it, please follow my Buzz Without the Booze Instagram account. I do document stuff on there, or just reach out, hello@helenpackham.com, or on social media. I'll be happy to provide a sounding board. If you're thinking about doing it, then I would absolutely go for it. And I will see you next time.